What are the most common authority-based social engineering scams, and why should I care? Authority-based scams are when you put yourself up as an authority figure and then use that authority, that borrowed authority that isn't even yours, to then manipulate or get information from people. And so if you understand these scams, if you understand what's going on, then you can recognize it and you're able then to fight against it and protect yourself from it. And so we're going to talk about some of these real life examples right now with Chris. We just had a full podcast here talking about authority-based social engineering and understanding all of that. And we wanted to jump in and put a little hero portion video out as well, digging into this a little bit deeper. So if you missed the podcast, make sure to check it out on learnonlinesecurity.com. But so with authority-based social engineering scams, let's look at number one, CEO fraud. Business email compromise. So an attacker impersonates the company owner or CEO manager, often by email, and gets them to do some sort of information. So why is this an authority-based scam?
It's using legitimate authority to attack. Who are you? Most people won't question the boss. This is the owner of the company. They say do. Most people like working or like keeping their job or like their paychecks, take your pick.
I think there's a couple ways that people do this too, because it's not just hijacking necessarily the boss's email or their phone number, although they do that. But it could also just be that I create a random Gmail password or Hotmail password email. And then I use that email to say, hey, I don't have access to my corporate stuff. I'm using my own personal email, which of course the employee's never seen before, but it's their name. So why wouldn't it be them? And I just need you to do this quick thing for me. I'm away from the office.
And the scary part is that information is so easy to get.
Incredibly easy.
We provide it because most people, especially CEOs, network. So there's social media platforms like Indeed, LinkedIn. There's a couple of others out there that aren't coming to my head right away. You put your information out there.
Okay, the other big one that's really huge is fake IT support. So pretending to be Microsoft, absolutely huge. Or the Geek Squad from Best Buy. That's another one that's targeted all the time.
We're going to put this one straight into a nutshell. 90% of computer users, no matter what they say they are computer illiterate. They can move around their computer. They can maybe set a password. They can do whatever. You suddenly get this intrusion from malware or an email saying, your computer is doing the following. You're in trouble. I'm from Microsoft. You need to let me in. It's a case of the authority comes from, I have the knowledge. The authority comes from, most people are afraid of Big Brother.
That is true.
We picked on Microsoft, but believe it or not, this scam runs rampant in Apple as well.
Well, right now, we'll spend an extra 30 seconds on this. But right now, one of the easiest ways to actually get this notification to pop up on your computer is through a browser. So browsers apply anywhere. There's browser notifications. So if I can trick you into getting a browser notification put up on your computer, then I can get that notification to show whatever I want, whenever I want. And so they can then trick that and use that. And I've seen that a number of times. Comes off recipe sites and all sorts of different things where someone installs a browser extension and don't realize what they're installing, and away they go.
Browser extension or even legit programs they'll turn around and have a piggyback on.
Yeah.
And it'll follow its way in.
Another big one, government or law enforcement impersonation. And this one becomes a little harder to verify. If you have someone from the CRA, they call you, or from the IRS, they call you, and it's like, well, what's your, they're like, oh, my name is so-and-so, and here's my employee number. And it's like, well, what do I do with that? How do I verify that you're from the CRA or IRS just with your employee number? Because I don't have the employee database here that I can run that across.
This is where life experience, and I rely on our seniors in our environment of, I'm so and so from this place. I need to talk to you about the following. Okay, if you need to talk to me, you tell me what my address is, because they should have that information right in front of them. Ask them information that they should have access to in front of them. That's not necessarily public, but they should have it. What's my postal code? They'll have it.
Yeah, generally, if the tax guys are calling you about something, they're talking about something specific that's already in your online account now that you can verify numbers with or things like that. Or the other thing is, how are they asking you to pay for said service? You know,
Yes.
the IRA does not ask you for gift cards. It does not ask you for a wire transfer to a Swiss bank account.
No, it won't ask you for anything of that nature. Um, the other thing, especially if you're on your cell phone and you have it come through, in North America, if it's a bank, a government agency, law enforcement, a validated, authenticated entity, it'll use a 5-digit code versus a phone number.
One more attack that I find very interesting is, and I'm curious to hear your story on this, Chris, because I know you have experience with it. But utility company, there's utility company threats. So where they come in and they say, "Hey, we're going to shut down your account if you don't pay this." But you had another interesting attack where they emailed and said, "Hey, we noticed on the last bill that you were short $10." Or something's insignificant like that. Well, tell me that story.
So that story goes like this. The attacker spoofed a large utility company. And where we live, there's roughly 1 million people in our area. That's our service by this utility company. And they pushed it out to 100,000 people, it turned out. And the amount that they were short on their electrical bill was minuscule. It was only $9 and change. But remember, that's $9 and change by 100,000 people over like 10% of 10%. And of that number, I looked at it and I had to look twice. I was sitting there with Sarah, another one of our teachers. Excuse me. I had to look twice. And it took me a little while to pick it apart, but you could tell it wasn't right. Something wasn't right. We picked it apart. Well, as soon as we saw it, we contacted just about everybody we know and said, "Hey, if you got this text, don't pay it." We contacted 10 people within roughly 10 minutes of us receiving it. We all received it roughly the same time. It had a 70% conversion rate. That meant 70% of the people paid the $9.58 or 78 cents, whatever it was. Website, everything. They monitored the logos, all of it. 70% conversion, and the number would have been higher, except 3 of the people that we reached hadn't opened it yet to deal with it, and one was about to already press send.
So a very high success rate. They're looking at, a $700,000 payday.
Exactly.
Which
they didn't need lots of money. They just needed a little bit of money by looking legitimate.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like there's so many different types of these attacks. And what is the one takeaway right now? If we could give people one takeaway that they could say, this is what you have to do when you come against any of these attacks. There's so many different ones that we could come up with. But when you come up against these attacks, what's the one thing that you should do to mitigate it?
The same argument that we use just about for everything, which is buy yourself time. We're going to cut off your hydro. Okay. Can you give me a number I can call you back at? and you're going to get your name and a number I can call you back at, and then phone the utility company directly and say, hey, I was contacted by this employee of yours. I don't know what department, and they claim to be in bills and collections. Can you connect me to them?
Or even ask the company directly about that. Don't call the number back that they gave you, because that may or may not be spoofed, depending if it's real or not. We're not saying that every person who comes to you from authority is not legit. There's some they are, and they do need to talk to you. But it's okay to go back and verify from the actual company. Look up what their actual number is. Phone them up, find out what the real deal is, get the scoop on it, and if that person's real or not.
So my final piece of advice on all of this: validate, verify, validate, then proceed.